Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
With Personal Appeals Part 1, if anyone has a personal appeal, please approach the podium and sign in, state your name, and you have 5 minutes for your appeal. Hearing none. Oh,
Gene's here.
I don't get up as fast as I used to.
Here, I thought he was just here to watch.
Yeah.
We're not that lucky.
My name is Gene Clark. I'm president of the Canals Homestead Preservation Society. I'm here to highlight the Emmaus Founders Day Dinner coming up on July 27th, 6 p.m. at the Emmaus Moravian Church. This is a celebration of the two families that donated the land for the borough of Emmaus, and we're bringing it a wider attention to the borough. It is being catered by a local business, licensed to grill, and we're theming it around the foods of that time period: corn chowder, ham and bean stew, fire roasted chicken, glazed ham, sauteed green beans, Dutch potato salad, cornbread, stewed apple a la mode, peaches and cream cobbler, and beverage. $20 a ticket. Tickets available online at either the Canals Homestead website or the 1803 House. We invite all to attend. It's sure to be a fun evening. Thank you.
thank you, Gene.
Thanks, Gene.
Any other public appeals? Hearing none. Community minute. Anybody have anything to bring forward? Report on?
Oh, community minute? I have something, sorry. I just want to give a summary from the Emmaus Arts Commission. They finished their Emmaus Gnome Sweet Home fundraiser and auction, and the commission raised a total of $1,710. They had 72 total bids and 3 buy it nows right in the beginning, and the bids ranged from $60 to $200, so about an average bid of $110.
Nice.
So they did very well with that. It was their first time doing the gnomes. They've done the rain barrels and several other things, but this was very successful. So they're probably going to look at ways of improving that for next year.
Jeff, did they have any goals that they wanted to reach, or was it
No,
just
I mean, I think it was just. I think just by talking at the meetings, it was an interesting concept. Looking for something different to do, and a little bit smaller to carry around. They did the chairs once before, which were very successful. But I think that the overall response to have that many bids, I mean, a total of 72 bids is pretty high for the auction. So I think it's a good idea, and they want to expand it a little bit and maybe put it into a few other type of elements that they can use for, like, maybe gardening and stuff like that.
Nice.
So they have other ideas. So I think it was nice. So that's the only thing I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else with community minute? Shanna?
I just wanted to mention that the Recreation and Entertainment Commission is putting on the free concerts in the park, so I encourage everyone to go there. This weekend will be Swing Time Dolls. After that, Large Flower Heads. These are favorites, so please attend.
And they could definitely use your volunteerism if any of you are able to help. I know that they sent an email out a couple months ago for you to sign up if you're able to volunteer, but I would think that especially probably the Large Flowerheads concert, which generates anywhere between 1,000 and 2,000 people with that, depending on the weather. I'm sure they could probably use your help if you're able and willing. Please sign up and help them out a little bit. They've been working really hard this year on making some of these events successful. I know that their 40th anniversary event is coming up, and
do we know the date for that?
It's August 11th. Yeah, I think they could really use our help.
Is that the Large Flowerhead one, or?
August
No,
11th is, no, that's
Thank you.
Scott Marshall, I think? Yeah, Scott Marshall. Yeah, I think that's Scott Marshall, I believe.
Okay, thank you, Shanna. Special presentations, we have none. We have 2 sets of meeting minutes to approve. We have the public hearing meeting minutes, or minutes from June 17th. Would somebody like to make a motion to approve those? Councilman Schubsta, seconded by Councilman Hart. Any questions or discussion on that? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes. And then we have the regular council meeting minutes from June 17th. Would somebody like to make a motion to approve those? Councilman Anders, seconded by Councilwoman McManaman. Any questions or corrections? Hearing none, all those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes. Decisions on bids, we had the janitorial bid. There was a memorandum there from Shane to not accept the bid and rebid it, and it's with the intention of getting more bids because we only had 1 bid last time. And we're going to bid it out a little bit differently, so there's going to be another option with having Cintas providing, would it be Cintas? Well, they have to bid on, they have to bid on it, but
Cintas or UniFirst, they both have state contracts.
they would supply us with the toilet paper and the cleaning supplies, and we would just need somebody hired to actually do the work to see if it makes a difference with the cost or not. So that's what we're going to do there. Any questions on that?
Yeah, I got a question. Shane, did the bid spec, is there any modifications from the last one that went out?
Yes.
The one that you have in here?
Yeah.
Okay.
The one thing that Attorney Demick reminded me of, and I went, oops, and fixed it today, was remember the alternate bids, or not the alternate bids. If you were to extend the contract, it's not a negotiable item. It needs to be a fixed price. So we did correct that. So in other words, it's a 2-year contract, but if we wanted to extend because they're doing a good job, we know what the 3rd year fixed pricing, 4th year fixed pricing, and 5th year fixed pricing would be.
Oh, okay.
So I didn't make that modification, but that was it, other than what we already sent out.
Same thing, okay.
All right.
All right. Moving on to communications, we received a communication from
I need a vote from you. I'm sorry.
I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Motion first. Is there a motion? Councilwoman Baumgartner, and seconded by Councilman Schubsta. Questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes.
Thank you.
We received a correspondence from Corey Rowland from Meals on Wheels asking for a donation, and Shane will respond that we're not able to, correct? Because of our memorandum from our solicitor saying we are no longer able to do that. Bill Durso from St. Anne's School for the 70th anniversary run/walk event. That was discussed during the Parks and Rec Commission, or committee rather, and do we want to bring it forward now?
It's on their piece of the agenda as well, so it doesn't matter. I think.
I'd rather, if there's people here, is there somebody in the audience from there? Let's do it now so then they don't have to hang around. So if you want to come to the podium, and I'll turn it over to the, who's chairman? Chairwoman Baumgartner. You
Sure.
want to take over on that then?
Sure. So this is a 5K race to celebrate the 70th anniversary of St. Anne's. And we have an approved race route. And so
That's correct.
I think the only thing that's missing is the insurance.
Yeah, so
Okay.
we can certainly provide that
Okay.
for any additional insured. We did update, we met earlier this week and refined the route. It'll start from 6th Street rather than 5th, and then head out Minor towards the trail.
All right, and that route is attached as well on our
Correct.
iPad. So you can review the route, and thank you for coming to answer any questions that we have. But this is part of a larger celebration for the
It is.
70th anniversary.
This is the 7th anniversary, so they're kicking off the calendar school year from 19 into 20. This event, coupled with a litany of others that'll take place over the course of the year, this is just one of many.
Just one question. I know in our meeting, it was brought up, the fact that the amount of volunteers that you can get to help us out, was that discussed?
It was, yeah. We're probably in the neighborhood of 30 to 40 at the very least for volunteers for traffic control, intermittent traffic control. We'll also have those volunteers at the start and finish, which will be at the school.
Okay.
So Are you the race director?
I am.
Okay. Are there going to be barricades for the roads, or is this going to be people standing there?
Yeah, so we had met with Mr. Durso and Jeff Boardman, the chief of police and the director of public works, and we discussed that. And I think in some spots, we may want to have mobile barriers. But in other spots, the chief thinks that probably some cones would be more appropriate. But we've discussed both, and that's one thing where the chief of police and Mr. Dyschel said they will finish coordinating that with Mr. Durso.
And then my other question is, are the volunteers going to have some sort of vest on or something designating them that they're going to be directing traffic, or?
You will probably have a fluorescent orange, green, or some short shirt that will signify that you'll be able to tell they're a volunteer in the middle of the street.
Okay, and then as a runner myself who runs in a lot of races, I, first of all, always want to encourage these in the borough, but my concern is, it says 250 people, and I know from running on that trail system, you have them going out and coming back the same trail, and that's not going to be easy, and where's the turnaround going to be? I see it on the map, but I don't actually know where they're turning around.
Yeah, we're gonna still finalize that because we are gonna mark it. One of our other coaches, who's actually a marathoner, actually marked the course for distance. But we're also gonna mark it to make sure that there's ample enough room for a turnaround because it is narrow in certain areas.
There's nowhere I know where you can turn around other than maybe at Borough Line Park.
That's probably where we're gonna target, but we'll finalize that.
Okay. All right, anybody else? Thank you, Shannon. Do you want to propose the motion?
So I'll put that in the form of a motion, contingent upon insurance and ensuring that we have an approved race route. So-
Okay, there's a motion by Councilwoman Baumgartner,
Okay.
seconded by Councilman Hart. Any other questions?
Yeah, one question. Shane, will we be notifying everyone on Minor Street that this route will be coming down that way? Because there's a lot of apartment complexes in that.
Well, that's normally something we would put on the race coordinator.
Okay.
So we talked about whether or not we should actually close Minor Street, and the feeling from the chief was, with the number that they're projecting, I mean, they said 250, but he's thinking it's probably going to be much less for the first event. We're not sure that we need to close the road down.
Okay.
Not yet, not at this point. Now, if we're talking 300 to 500 runners, we need to talk about closures of the street. And so I think at this point, it's going to be more of a hold traffic up type of scenario. And also, if people are walking, use the sidewalks rather than the road type of thing. And that's something that Mr. Durso had said he would direct his people. Because we're sure that there's going to be people that will want to push the stroller or just walk the 5K. In that case, use the sidewalk. So we don't think, the chief doesn't think we need to do the road closures. So I'm not sure that we need to notify
Okay.
people. I think if it's 100 runners, which, very possibly could just be 100 runners, I don't think it's that big of a, to tell 300 houses that, hey, a bunch of people are going to run by at some point. If it's 500, different conversation. So, and they could have a much larger turnout than
True. You
what's
never know.
anticipated, but that's where they need to be in contact with us and say, hey, our 100 just turned into 500 or 600 or whatever the number might be. And then we need to have a contingency as to how to handle that.
Okay.
Anybody else? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes. Wish you the best of luck, Mr. Rowland.
Great, thank you.
We received a letter from Bill Durso. Oh, I'm sorry. Mr. Durso. I said your name wrong. Nigel Watt, request for appointment to the Planning Commission. I understand this person was interviewed tonight. Does somebody want to?
No, we'll wait for committee to do that because Greg Seger was also interviewed tonight.
Okay.
Yeah, right below it.
So we'll address those in committee. Lucy McLeod sent us a letter with regard to speeding on Harrison Street, Burger Street, and McCungie Avenue. We will send that to Safety Committee. From what I understand, they're already addressing it. Keith Plunkett from Funk Brewing Request street closure for Funktoberfest, October 30th and 31st of next month.
You know what, he's actually in attendance.
He's in attendance.
So I'll call Keith forward, and maybe you can present to us what you're proposing.
Thanks for having me. This is the first year of it. We're looking to do, we're releasing our Oktoberfest beer. It is August 30th. That's not a typo. It's just, that's the way Oktoberfest, there's too many festivals and beer fests, so that's why we're doing it a little early. It is Labor Day weekend, so we're gonna kind of call it like a staycation type event. Basically what we're looking to do is close down right in front of the brewery, in between Bank and Railroad, so having those two roads open. And hopefully we could do a tent right in front. If not, I can make it work without a tent and just hope for good weather. So that's basically all we're looking for. Looking to park 2 food trucks in front of that space and kind of block off the area like that.
So you're saying right on 6th Street?
Yep.
Keith, there's an obvious concern about closing that street down for 2 days.
Okay, not 2 days, I'm sorry. So the festival, I just put the 2 days for the festival. But all I'd be looking for is 9 a.m. to midnight on that Saturday.
One day.
So we open at noon. So I was just thinking 9 a.m. for tent setup, if that's, you know.
May I?
No, hold on a second.
Is there a reason
Roy.
you prefer to have it out on?
Did you have anything else, Shane?
No, just that, so even that, I mean, that's, you know, we're talking about 15 hours there. How long are you actually having the event on that day?
So the event will be from noon to 11.
Noon to 11, so you
Yeah.
need time, okay, time to set up, time to
Yeah.
tear down?
Yeah.
Okay, that's all I have.
Is the reason you want to have it there is because it's connected to the building then?
Yeah, well, yeah, so the goal is to kind of expand our area for the festival to allow more people. And we're hoping to have.
There's no chance of having that, like Fire Company number one, did you maybe think about talking to them and using their lot, the lower lot?
The problem is our tap system is in our brewery. So then I'm adding a ton of costs trying to get a tap truck and all that kind of stuff.
Well, my concern is the fact that we only have 6 weeks to the event, and just for future reference,
Okay.
the Borough Council as a whole, to go through the committee structure and answer all these questions in advance, we always like to have that at least 3 months out
Okay.
in the future. So I don't know how council feels about closing down 6th Street. There's probably issues we're not thinking about. But go ahead.
So have you thought about, because you're really attached to like that parking lot with the
Storage unit.
storage unit?
Yeah.
Couldn't you have it maybe in there, and then you'd still have your tap room, and they could walk to and from?
Yeah, so that was my goal, is to, I've already spoke to the storage unit. They said that we can close the gate on that side and people can enter in from Yergi side, the people that use the storage unit. Then I was gonna close that and have that area as well for the festival.
I'm
But
saying,
So it's not
as an
just-
option, instead of maybe 6th Street being closed, you could could you have it contained within that area?
sure, yep.
So if I may, can you just tell us like the size and scope of what you're trying to do here? Because from what I'm gathering is it's much larger than just the building and a tent, right? And a couple food trucks. So
that's
can
what I'm hoping.
can you tell us what, like, the scope of what you're trying to pull off?
So what I'm hoping is we'll have 200 people would be my guess at like the max time. You know, my thought is we're gonna have a bigger presence from that noon to 4 range, because that's when we're the busiest on Saturdays anyway, and that's mostly with families and all that kind of stuff. So what I was hoping to do is get some face painting and make it more of an event than just a beer event, since we do have a ton of families that come into the brewery. So we were hoping that we could close it off and kind of spread it out a little, instead of like being packed into such a little area.
Good question for you, Keith. Is there music?
Yes, our hope was to do music as well. That's why I did put that on there.
Okay.
And I have a couple. So did you check with Fire Company 1 about parking? for that?
We have kind of an agreement with them, so
Okay.
whenever I do an event, I donate to their.
Okay. And then the business across the street, which I never remember.
Top Star.
They're not open
He's-
on Sunday?
he's
Or
not.
on Saturday?
I can talk to, it's Joe Stark from Top
Uh-huh.
Star. I can talk to them and see if that's gonna be an issue, but I used to work there too, so I can talk to him, make sure. They're mostly during the week, they use it as their maintenance, like their maintenance in and out, so I can find out from him as well,
Okay.
if it's okay.
So what's the alley right next door?
So Keith, so if we have a problem with Sixth Street closing that, your backup plan is then to close the gate where the storage unit is?
Yeah, I'm just gonna close the
Everything
gate, we'll
inside
just
there.
make it a smaller event, you know,
Okay.
we always make it work.
So you have that, and then there's some parking areas there and stuff like that.
Yeah, and you know, with the parking, because I know that's going to be the next question. With the parking, like the Lehigh Valley Brewers Guild Beer Fest, I was counting. That was like I lost sleep over that because of the parking at the community park, and the amount of people that are Ubering to the brewery and events like this is, you know, I don't know the exact number, but it's got to be close to 50% of people that are not using their cars to go to these events anymore.
So right in front of your brewery on Sixth Street,
Yep.
would that block the entrance to the alley at Bank Street there?
No.
No, it's gonna be in front, I think.
So is there gonna be a fence or something there to keep people from walking where traffic is gonna be coming on the street?
That was gonna be that would be a question is what do I need? So, you know, if a food truck is blocking that area, is that enough or?
Well, I mean, so you're gonna need road closure barricades
Yeah.
and you know, proper signage and things like that. But I think what Mr. Labenberg's getting at is, you know, you guys over the years, and it's great, you have a much larger business than you ever anticipated. I still remember when you know, when Mr. Funk came in here and sold us on it and said, no, it'll never grow, it's gonna be small, I'm spending every dime I have, and
Yeah.
it quickly turned into like, we were hollering at you because you're spilling outside the doors.
Yes, yeah.
And so, you know, part of the question is, if you're gonna have 200 people, you're saying 200 people, I'm telling you 400 people.
Yeah.
Are they going to be, you know, outside the area that you're trying to have closed off there? And I think that's what he's saying is, how are you gonna prevent people from, you know, hanging out on the Bank Street and spilling over?
Yes,
And
yeah,
so, you know, I think barricades, but probably maybe some snow fencing and keeping them kind of corralled.
Okay, that's easy.
It's probably gonna be, if council was to agree to it, I think, you know, I see a lot of beer events where they corral people through some kind of fencing,
Yeah.
you know, to keep them into the area that they're supposed to be in.
And I mean, that would help us out too, as far as we could, with IDing and everything, you know, we could wristband people. If there's less places to come in, you know, it's less of a pain to be like IDing people and, you know, wristbanding them.
Yeah.
So,
The biggest issue I see is you have a tent there, somebody coming from Chestnut Street, turning on the 6th, not knowing that tent's there, and now you got a bunch of people trying to turn around, figuring, how do I get out of there?
okay.
I don't know how we deal with that.
They could theoretically turn back left on the bank and go down.
Right,
Go down
but
the
do we
Fed,
really want a
right?
lot of traffic flow going through there because they made a turn thinking they could go through 6th Street?
Well, that's gonna be a concern. I mean, we're gonna have to put, you know, road closed ahead sign up, but that's definitely a concern.
And Bank is skinny out.
Yeah, it's tough, especially if you get, you know, a larger vehicle. You know, a tractor trailer who's GPSing it, has them turning right or left on the 6th Street. Now you've got a conundrum.
And then on the opposite side, coming north on 6th Street, we theoretically should have a detour sign saying you need to come up here and go over to,
I mean, maybe part
just
of
one
your-
sign would cover it.
Maybe part of your solution, because it's so you have the pizza shop on one side, you have the convenience store on the other. Maybe you shut it off right there at the entranceway. People could still get into their entrances off of Chestnut, but maybe the solution would be to actually shut the road down at 6th.
But they can't turn
Oh.
left out of
You're gonna have to shut bank down, you're gonna have to shut bank
No,
down.
no, I'm saying out of the convenience store, they can't turn left, then.
Right.
Well, they could, you could shut down one lane and let them try to
Oh,
go
I
out
see
there.
what you're saying.
Yeah.
And have it like an exit still.
Yeah, I'm not suggesting that's the solution, I'm just saying that's a
Right.
possibility.
I think it would be safer that way.
No entrance coming on
No
the
entrance,
sixth,
but an
but you
exit.
leave the right lane open so that people can come out of the convenience store
So you're right.
and leave.
What about, do we know if, obviously we haven't spoken to fire chief, if that would be an issue?
No, so the first time I saw this was
Okay.
when you saw it.
Okay.
So Keith, this is why everything we're asking now is what we would have done in the committee structure, and that's why we like having this in advance.
Like I said, I'll make it work either way.
Yeah, I mean, so if you guys wanna move forward with this, you could do a contingent approval on it, subject to the police, fire chief, public works director, and my review. Cause I think there's a lot of logistics that need to be worked out, but you don't have until next month to decide. That's the problem that you have, is you meet again on
August 15th?
I think August 19th.
Yeah,
So-
it's August, that's too late.
You'd have to make some kind of decision whether to move forward or not move forward with that piece of it tonight.
Well, does anyone want to make a,
I think there's still some
Just
comment.
one, so we could do it contingent upon all those approvals, and if not, he can have it in his fenced in area.
Yeah, or you can just, or, I mean, you can vote whatever way you feel you need to vote tonight, but if you're going to move forward with it, I would make it contingent upon, those approvals.
As the borough manager, if they all approve, public safety people, do you have any other concerns with it?
Well, I think I expressed what my concerns were, and that is, I think we would have to cut off traffic at the entrance of Sixth and Chestnut.
I think so.
I don't think you wanna take any chance with anybody coming, mistakenly turning in there and it being a tractor trailer truck because they thought they were gonna go, somewhere down the road, and now what are you gonna do? Now he gets to park there overnight because there's no getting him through. So my concern would be that, I think more than anything, making sure that people are corralled, maybe put a snow fence in there, making sure you had proper signage. Also, because you're going out on a public street with an alcohol event, what kind of police presence is going to be needed there?
Okay.
So I think that there's a lot of logistical things that we would need to have resolved, for me to feel very comfortable with it.
go ahead.
So is there enough time in your mind to get all those approvals from the police chief, fire, ambulance, and to get you to feel comfortable with maybe doing it contingent upon all those, or do you think it's rushed?
I don't think it's rushing it. I'm gonna be gone for 10 days, starting Wednesday.
So's Chief Palmer.
And so is Chief Palmer. So because of that, it may be tight for us.
So then
But,
how-
could a sergeant fill in for Chief Palmer? Yeah, Chief Palmer and I can talk tomorrow at the staff meeting tomorrow afternoon, and try to get that all coordinated before we both, because I think he leaves, Mrs.
He's-
Mayor, but he leaves Thursday
His
maybe?
last day is Thursday,
His
the
last day is
18th.
Thursday. So we could coordinate at least to have discussion started, but neither he nor I will be here until the 29th is when we come back.
Okay.
Then I'll make
I just have one quick question. What are you gonna do with the train and the crossings? Are you gonna put some kind of barrier there? Because alcohol and trains do not mix with pedestrians. Just something you have to keep in mind. You don't want somebody stumbling across those tracks, intoxicated, and getting hit by a train.
That's
Well,
why I felt a snow fence should encompass the
You
entire.
gotta do
Our
something.
goal is always not to, people don't leave intoxicated, because that's illegal, but,
Nice thought.
Good goal.
okay. I can figure it out without, it's not that big of a deal, so.
Keith, the other thing is, like, if you wanna close from the railroad down, what's the distance that they require?
That I don't know.
Railroad would set that, I think, right? Don't they set that?
Well,
They have a
They have
right-
their
we have a
right-of-way.
right of way. We know what the right of way is.
It's like 12 feet?
Yeah, it's something like
Something
that.
like
I
that
think it's
from the
15.
road. It's 15 feet.
I think it's 15.
Oh, is it? Okay.
If not more.
I think it might even be more.
Could be 30.
I think it's 15 feet on each side.
Oh, maybe that's what it is. Total of 30,
15
but
on both
15 each
sides
side.
where it starts. Okay.
All right.
I have a question. So you have August 30th and 31st?
Yeah,
Can you
so
describe what the 30th is?
The 30th is just gonna be a regular night that we're open. We have a food truck that night, and we're gonna do, basically, we have, like German Stein glasses. And last year, we sold out of them, like it was, people lined up just for this glass. So we're gonna do it Friday and Saturday and spread it out a little instead of,
And what's-
last year I had the event on the Emmaus Halloween Parade Day with the, Lehigh Valley Brewers Guild Beer Fest all on the same day, so I was trying to spread it out. It's-
Okay, and August 30th, what would be your start time?
That's a Friday, we open at 4 o'clock.
Okay, so you just start
Yeah,
when you open?
and we don't
Okay.
need anything special, the gates will be open, we'll close our back gate, so like there's 2 actual fences at Funk. So we'll close our gate and just keep it confined to, so I just put the date because it was, you know,
Okay,
the weekend event.
Then
All
I'm
right.
glad I didn't.
So that one
but no
does-
music on that day?
No music.
Okay, thank you.
So the road's open on that day.
Keith, I don't want to be misunderstood with my vote. And I will tell you that I support you and your business and everything that you're doing for this borough. I really do. But given all of the concerns that were expressed today, I can't support a street event.
Okay.
I would support the fenced-in one, so just so you understand what my vote might be on the street event.
Okay.
Thank you.
I do have one more question before we bring up the motion. So some tents have required that you put stakes into like macadam. Is it that type of tent that?
So they have, we actually have, we have a tent company that I've used before for the beer fest and everything, and they have cement blocks as well.
As well, so they do.
Nope, so it's an either or.
Okay.
So he
So
does.
it won't do anything to the street.
It won't touch the road.
No big spikes, I've seen that before.
Right. I mean, they do it in parking lots and stuff. Okay. Just wanted to verify. All right. So does somebody want to make a motion?
Closed to the tracks. I'll make that motion.
I'll second it.
All right. Contingent upon
Contingent
approval from
upon-
all the safety
Yeah,
people
from all the
involved and
safety.
insurance.
Commissions, the insurance, also contingent on, Keith, if you have an opportunity to talk to the firehouse in regards to parking and the Star.
Starts, yeah.
Street.
Yeah.
And so with your motion, Mr. Schiff says that's closing the road from 9 AM to midnight on Saturday.
That's, yes, 9 AM till midnight on Saturday.
When will the tent be torn down?
That's what, I can get him to take it down that day, and if I can't.
When you say that day, at midnight?
At midnight, yeah.
Okay.
And if I can't, I won't do a tent, so,
Okay.
if that makes sense.
All right. We have a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
Yeah, Mr. Andrews.
A second. Okay. Any other questions or discussion?
So then, based on the motion, then, if it doesn't get approved by the public safety people, then they'll do it it's approved, and they'll do it in the fenced-in area, I would assume. Because we don't have
Yeah,
any
because we
control.
don't have any,
Right,
yeah, we
right.
have no
Okay.
jurisdiction on that
All
side.
right. Any other questions? All right. Kind of do this with a hand vote because this might be a mixed vote. All those in favor say aye. Aye.
Right.
Those opposed say no.
No.
There are 2 noes, Councilwoman Baumgartner and Councilman Hart. So as of now, you're approved contingent upon those
Sure.
other factors that we have to have looked
Sounds good.
into. All right, wish you best of luck.
Thanks for your time.
Oh, we talked so long, my iPad went off.
So did mine.
Forgot to charge it.
All right, we're still in communications here. We have
Still in communications?
Jennifer Durr for the Brothers and Sisters Against Suicide. It's an inaugural awareness ride / vendor fair at Community Park on October 5th. I'll refer this to,
What's the date?
Yeah, they're actually in attendance. So maybe we just might want to ask them a little bit, but definitely the Parks and Recreation, I believe.
Okay.
But maybe just to get a little bit of a gist of what they want to do and what their goal is would be good.
Yeah, because I saw 40 to 50 vendors, so it's not a small event,
No.
so. All right. Good evening.
Good evening. What we're looking to do.
Can you just please state your name
Oh,
for the
sorry, my
record
name
then?
is Jennifer Durr. I'm one of the founders of the organization. We were founded back in the fall after Julian Familia, who was a firefighter and EMT in town, committed suicide. So this event is what we hope to be the first of a yearly thing for him. Well, this year it will go to his sons, the funds that we raise, his sons and his daughter. And then after that, it'll continue with our organization. We're looking to have a ride in the morning, motorcycles and vehicles. Leaving from the firehouse, we've already been in talks with Chief, and ending hopefully at Community Park, where there then will be a vendor event, just like you've seen with many other organizations that run those types of events, where people can come, purchase things, support, that type of stuff.
Okay. So there'll obviously have to be pavilion rentals, correct? And we have a
That's off-season, right?
fundraiser slash,
Yeah, so,
we came out with those rates for nonprofits, I believe?
yeah, are you a certified nonprofit organization?
Not yet. We're on our process. We're filling out the applications, but of course that takes time to happen. So we have gotten our LLC to start. So we are a certified organization on its own, but we're not a 501c or anything like that yet at this point.
That is that's right at the very end of our pavilion rental season. I think the first week of October we could probably hold off a week or so. I'm sure the public works director will smack me tomorrow for saying that.
We had started, that's how this actually even started, was we were just looking to rent the pavilion, but then as we wound up talking more, we realized that it was more than just that was needed, and that's how I wound up here.
So you're talking like, did I see? Did somebody say 50?
40 to 50 vendors, it's on the
Vendors?
second page.
That's what we're hoping for. We, at this point, location dependent, of course, already have 25 confirmed.
Wow.
Are you gonna have any food trucks or anything?
We are hoping to. I know I spoke with them downstairs when I first dropped off the application. I know they would need the inspections, health inspections from Emmaus if
Okay.
we decided to do it, so, but that's up in the air.
And then it says to have a band, is that gonna be in the Arts Pavilion?
That's what we were hoping for.
Okay.
You're gonna have to rent all that stuff. There's gonna be a fee involved.
Yeah.
Because we're gonna have costs involved in moving tables and
Yeah, I
garbage
mean,
pickup.
They're gonna have to pay probably for the pavilion fee because there's gonna be a lot to this.
Yeah, I mean, I've already dropped a check off downstairs. I know they haven't cashed it yet because it got to more.
Yeah.
But we were originally knowing that there was a rental fee.
No alcohol at that event.
No.
Okay. And you said you think that there's only gonna be 100 people there, 100 plus. Now, with 50 vendors, that's gonna put 100 people as vendors, right?
Well,
So-
and actually, I was thinking 100 spectators.
How many people do you really think in your head? If you were to pull off 50 vendors for that event?
If I was to pull off 50 vendors, probably between 200 and 300. I wasn't thinking about adding the vendors into that amount. I was thinking people coming outside of that.
So my next question is, anybody scheduled?
Well, that was my question.
Yeah, so I don't know that
The only
answer.
thing that would be down there would be football, I would think. EPMFA that's a Saturday.
But you're doing your event on a Saturday?
Yes.
So, they're fall baseball, but they're not scheduled yet, right?
No,
So I'm not worried about any of
I
that.
was just saying football.
But football does Sunday games, don't they?
I,
I'm pretty sure.
is it?
So did you check to see if the Arts Pavilion was available when you said you already gave a deposit?
Yeah,
It is available?
It is. We've been
Okay.
working on that
So
with one of the EMTs actually started, Jonathan, I can't pronounce his last name, Plager, has been working with me to do it. And we've actually had it reserved for quite a few weeks now on that basis. And then I came up last week to make the payment, and that's what.
And no intention of reserving any other pavilions, just that one?
The one pavilion, but what drove us here is the fact that we'd wind up most likely with that many vendors and setups outside on the grassy areas as
Right.
well.
We've done that before.
So that 100 people, is that based on just like the number of riders you think?
That's what we have roughly on our, on the Facebook event, because this started off as a memorial run for Julian, Then the organization developed, so it's become both. So that's about, at this point, how many people have said that they're going on Facebook.
Got you, okay, all right. Because people will show up to those things just based on vendors that they know. So what I'm trying to get at is, I remember a funeral home doing an event down there, and we were thinking 200 people, and 2,000 showed up. And our park was completely flooded with people, and we were so understaffed, we were so frantic. We were pulling police and park police and public works people out of thin air to come down there and help deal with it. What I'm trying to prevent is
I agree, because I don't know
great
what
for
I would do
you.
if that many
You know,
people showed up, though.
that would be great for you, but it would be a nightmare logistically for us, because we were not prepared for parking or anything that day. And so
I can definitely talk to Chief too when I meet with him, see what we can do about getting fire police involved as well.
yeah, so that's, and I'm sorry, I know Ms. Baumgartner had some questions.
Good.
Insurance is a big part of this too.
I am in the process of applying for it. I included the application, this was the first time, and I understand that anything decided would be contingent upon having the insurance.
Yeah, especially with the vendor. Now, most of your vendors should have their own insurance.
Yes.
But since there's not alcohol at this event, I'm not sure that for the event, will they, I mean, they're doing a bike run. Do they have to cover that, Mr. Dimick?
No, but they do have to cover any conditions on the land.
Right. So they're vendors and things, like,
Well, they'll cover that, but the organization will have to have it, insurance to protect us as well.
okay.
It's just a general liability.
Right, and that's what I've begun applying for.
All right, at this point, oh, go ahead.
So, one of my questions was, I noticed that you had 6 volunteers.
I have 6 members of our organization.
Okay.
We will have, I've got his extended family, some of our family as well, so we'll have more volunteers that day, but there's 6 members of our organization at this time.
And then it was described as an escorted ride. Does that mean you would need, like, police or?
No, it's going to, well, I don't know if escorted is the right way. We have, when we do runs, there's usually a road captain
Okay.
who would be the lead heading up. It's not just a go wherever you want. It's going to be a planned out run that will be escorted by a particular person, not necessarily anybody of an official status.
Okay. All right, thank you.
All right, so would somebody like to make a motion to approve the
Yeah,
event?
I don't know that do we need to take it to committee
Well, I
after
would
all
thi-
this? I mean, are we good to vote on it?
That's,
Yeah.
we could take a motion. I think the only thing we need to approve basically is allowing them to use the park for the vendors.
Right. I would just ask.
Because other than that, it's a rental
I would ask with the contingency of Public Works Director and Insurance, I think are the two.
for the
big-
setup.
Yeah.
All right, so with the motion, okay. The motion with the date and the time, what, do we have the times?
October 5th.
8 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Just my birthday.
Contingent upon working with the Public Works Director for the setup for the vendors and insurance. Correct? So motion by,
May I,
hold on, there's a motion by Councilman Anders, second by Councilwoman Baumgartner. Discussion?
I believe that's the recycling, the electronic recycling date, October 5th?
In the morning.
It is, but.
It is.
We'll have our own audience for that. Like, everybody in town will be dropping off their stuff.
But logistics going in, just
No,
seeing how that has?
We're not using that part.
It's gonna be
We're
Klein's
compost.
Lane.
Oh, I
Yeah.
forgot that change. Okay, sorry, thank you.
Anyone else?
Other end of town.
Okay.
All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. There's 7 ayes. Wish you best of luck.
Thank you.
Anybody else have a letter of communication to bring forward? No.
Yeah. I'm gonna need to.
No Borough Engineers report. Solicitors report.
I have no formal report. There's there's quite a bit of legal things going on, but it's not for public consumption at this point.
Okay, thank you. New business, we have ordinance 1192, an ordinance amending Chapter 15 subsection 404A of the codified ordinances, eliminating parking on portions of the west side of South 7th Street. This is the first reading. Would somebody like to make a motion to approve ordinance 1192? Councilwoman McManaman, seconded by Councilman Dufresne. Questions or discussion? It's a roll call vote. Councilwoman McManaman?
Aye.
Councilman Shipsta.
Aye.
Councilman Anders.
Aye.
Councilwoman Baumgartner.
Aye.
Councilman Dufresne.
Aye.
Councilman Hart.
Aye.
Councilman Ladenburg. Aye. There are 7 ayes. Second reading, is it 2 months away? First
No,
read?
no, this one we can do in August,
All right, so next reading will be at our August meeting.
August 19th.
So unfinished business, part 2, we have ordinance 1192, or 91 rather, and second reading will be in our August meeting, August 19th. Anyone have anything to bring forward not listed on the agenda? Hearing none, mayor's report.
Thank you. Just 2 items. The first is on August 6th from 5:30 to 8 p.m. There'll be an open house at the police department. We're going to have a car show, games. DJ Jack Dutch will be playing music for us.
Hopefully it doesn't storm this year. Last year was cracking.
Yeah, last year was bad. And we're going to have food trucks, so come on out, take a tour of the police department.
Will there be a dunk tank with Mr.
Oh,
Dufresne?
yeah, good flashback.
No, not this year.
We're getting so many injuries from
Not this year, but we're going to have an open house, so come on out, go through the department, play some games, and look at emergency vehicles and hot rods. I don't know how many, 25? Chris, is that what you?
That's what he said.
Around 25 hot rods, and a couple food trucks should be here. So it should be a good time. Hopefully, we'll have good weather.
Do we have permission to close the street down?
We know a person that might do that.
Maybe. All right, the other item I have is Proclamation 2019-466. This is for Emmaus, Pennsylvania Founders Day, July 30th, here and after. Whereas on July 30th, 1747, 44 individuals established a Moravian congregation that evolved into a democratic community, later to be named and known as Emmaus. And whereas the community continued to develop and care for its citizens and encourage its growth. And whereas in 1759, the first home was established in the community. And whereas the Emmaus Heritage Alliance educates the population and celebrates the history and development of our community and desires that the community be aware of its evolution. Now, therefore, I, Leanne Gilbert, Mayor of the Borough of Emmaus, proclaim July 30th of each and every year henceforth as a special day to show appreciation of the settlers for 1747 who established a Moravian congregation of 44 people that evolved into a village of Emmaus, Pennsylvania, which we enjoy and govern. Let this day of each year, hereinafter, be a celebration of the legacy of Emmaus. In witness thereof, I hereunto set my hand and caused of the seal the Borough of Emmaus, Pennsylvania, to be affixed this 15th day of July, 2019. I report progress.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Committee reports, Public Works Committee, Chairman Anders.
Yes. First thing on our agenda is the hiring of full-time Public Works employee. And we do separate, Shane?
Yes.
Each person, okay. The first person would be Matthias.
No.
No? Sorry. First person would be Kyle Chrisman.
Yes.
You had a 50-50 shot.
If he would have read his notes, I gave him the order.
And I would like to put that in the form of a motion to hire Kyle Chrisman for a full-time Public Works employee.
Is there a probation period for that too?
It's all according to contract.
Okay, so there's a motion on the floor. Is there a second? Councilwoman Baumgartner? Questions?
The only thing that I would state, Mr. Anders and Ms. Baumgartner, if you don't mind, is that it'll be at 90% of the rate.
Okay.
We do need to include that in the.
All right.
I'll amend my
So
motion.
amended and amend a second? So amended. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes.
The second person would be to hire Matthias Cruz. And I'll also add in Shane the 90%.
Yes, same thing, please.
90%, please.
There's a motion by Councilman Anders. Is there a second? Councilwoman McManaman? Any discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes.
Also, during our meeting, we discussed with Mr. Daishala, he was in attendance, the work orders, and you can see that they've been pretty busy with our Public Works Department. Also, we have
pretty busy with sewer inspections, as you can read in there, the details. And Mr. Dyschel will also update us on all projects. So with that, I will report progress. Yeah.
Yeah, you're very soft.
Oh,
Yeah, I think it's a mic issue,
okay.
so just be up close to it if you don't mind.
Okay, I'll report progress.
Thank you, Chairman Anders. Health, Sanitation, and Codes Committee, Chairman Shipsta.
Thank you. One item for this evening. We interviewed 3 individuals for an opening on the Planning Commission. We interviewed Karen, is it Latch? Latsch, Latch? Is that what it was, Shane?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Just want to make sure I say it. Nigel Watt and Gregory Sager. We discussed the different individuals. Mr. Sager has 30 years of industrial building project management experience and is looking to get involved in some of the development issues within the Emmaus Borough. We also interviewed Nigel Watt. He is an individual who served on the EAC for us and also on the health, the Borough of Health. Is it Health?
Health Board.
Health Board. Yeah, that's what it is, the Health Board. On the Health Board. He has an education background in environmental engineering. And both individuals, Mr. Sager and Mr. Watt, are both qualified. But we, as the committee, decided that we were looking at a little bit more of the environmental side of for the Planning Commission to add a little bit more balance to that. He brings a lot more stormwater management education and background into that into the Planning Commission, and we have individuals who already have project management experience and architects and things of that nature, but we always seem to come back to the stormwater issues, as we all know. So it was recommended by the committee, a 3-0 vote, to recommend Nigel Watt for the to fill the position on the Planning Commission, contingent on serving 4/1/2023, and I'll make that in the form of a motion.
Motion by Councilman Shipsta, second by Councilman Anders. Questions?
Just one. Planning Commission and Health Board, are they inconsistent according to the MPC, or could he serve on both essentially?
I believe you can serve them both.
Okay. Well, I'll just have to look and make sure I might.
I'll double check it, but I believe that
That's good.
they can serve on both.
That'll make Mr. Hart happy over there.
I can't say enough about Nigel. He's an outstanding member of the Health Board, and he'll be a fine contributing member should you approve him tonight for the Planning Commission. I would imagine he will, by his desire, come off of the Health Board.
Okay.
You will get an outstanding member of that commission.
Anyone else? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. 7 ayes. And your second candidate?
No, we just had one
There's
position.
just one open.
Oh,
Just
just
one
one.
opening right now.
Okay.
So that takes care of that opening we had. Nothing else for official action. Our next meeting is scheduled for July 31st at 4:30 in council chambers. Progress.
Thank you, Chairman Shipsta. Parks and Recreation?
President Labor, can I add one thing to his?
Sure can.
Yeah.
I just want to say here that I've seen this myself, Mr. Shipsta, and this is great. And 6 residents at least or more in the past 5 or 6 weeks have commented about Whitetail, how friendly they are. They
Oh.
wave to you, they say good
Did you hear
morning,
about
they
that
take
before?
things to the sidewalk, to the curbs and stuff, so
They're waving their
it's
messages.
unusual that people go out of their way to tell you the good things.
Mm-hmm.
And I like what I see with Whitetail. I thank you all for bringing that company to us. I'm sure there's some issues, but from what I see and what I hear, it's been a definite improvement.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of social media posts also, very positive, that they helped out. You know, they were, dragging cans back to somebody's yard and putting them in the back, and I was like,
I've seen
okay.
that too.
I would tell you that outside the first 2 weeks, which I told you all, calm down, relax. But this has been the easiest and best time period that I've had in 7.5 years being here with garbage haulers.
Yep.
Like, we do not receive many complaints.
Yep.
And a lot that we do receive, to be honest with you, is somebody had a whoopsie, forgot to put their garbage out, and decided to call and say they forgot to take mine, but they got everybody else in the row.
There.
But for the most part, if anybody gets a broken can, they don't fight it. It's not a bureaucracy thing with their corporate office. They bring out a new can and deal with it.
Yeah.
So they're dealing with things as they come along, and our staff loves dealing with them. It's been a very positive experience.
I think
it was
that,
definitely
yeah,
worth the legal fight.
Yeah, and the educational side, I think I see a lot more people, they're putting larger
Mm-hmm.
things out, but I think they're calling also that, from what I'm hearing, they're making that call to say, listen, I have something larger that you need to come pick up.
Yeah, we need to keep putting that out there so people,
Well, and so they've reacted to the residents too. The residents said, we need you to educate us. We're going on your website, and your website's all geared towards your individual people. So they've reacted to what the residents have asked for. They put a part of their website together just for our residents. So, there's still always an education process that needs to keep going. But they've been reactive to what the residents have wanted and needed, I think. And but that's a forever educational piece.
So since we're still talking, and I haven't gotten out of my committee yet, thank you, Mr. Dufresne. No, just kidding. So the October 5th event, will they be starting to coordinate with us? Because I did not bring that up.
We've been coordinating.
Okay, so they're going to come to our next meeting, I hope?
filed for I just met with them actually today again.
Okay.
I filed for the grant with the state.
Yep.
$100,000 goes to the county, so I meet with the county coordinator tomorrow before I go on vacation, because they are doing an event, ironically, next year.
Oh.
So they're going to win some of that money, actually the majority of that money. We just want them to share some of that with us if they're willing to. And Mr. Bollinger is a great guy to deal with at the county, so he's coming to sit down and talk to me.
Okay, good.
We're coordinating with all of the different pieces. There's a lot of pieces with that kind of event, so we're working through it. The state already reached out to me with all the different steps we need to take to get, the permits, the approvals, the safety plans. I mean, there's a lot of logistics that go into that event.
Yeah, we've never done
and they're
this
working through it. So they've been, Whitetail's been great, the state's been great, the county's been great so far. So, so we're working to move forward.
Awesome.
Just piggybacking on the whitetail, my garbage cans and recycling bins are always at the exact same spot I left them the night before when I come home from work the next day. I don't think that's ever happened before, so they're always at the exact spot, so it's nice. All right, progress?
Progress, second time.
Thank you, Chairman Shipsta, a second time. All right, Parks and Recreation Committee Chairwoman Baumgartner.
Thank you, Mr. President. We've already approved the St. Anne's 70th Anniversary Run Walk event, so there's no other item for action. We do have the meeting minutes, if anybody has questions. Our next meeting is August 6th at 4:30, right here, in progress.
Thank you, Chairwoman Baumgartner. We have Public Safety Committee Chairman Dufresne.
Okay, we have to do the promotion here, Shane, correct?
Yes.
So you can see in your packet here that we have a recommendation on promotion. We're recommending to promote Sean Lubineski to the position of lieutenant with the Emmaus Fire Department.
So motion on the floor, is there a second? Councilwoman Baumgartner, discussion? All those in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed say no. There are 7 ayes.
We already took care of the ordinance in here, and then you can see the meeting minutes in here. As Brent brought up in the President Lavenberg brought up in the beginning here, we did get the email on speeding in Harrison Street, and the police department's already started to address that, so that's already being worked on here. You can see the rest of the notes in here, unless there's any questions.
Just, Mayor Gilbert, you can probably refresh my memory. The one officer really should be pointed out this evening for the great job he did with the one child I saw.
Oh, Officer Kloss.
Yeah, if you could fill him in, I think that's a great story that,
He was just,
doing a great job.
I don't even really know all the details of it, other than the fact that this little girl saw his vehicle and wanted to see his vehicle and him, and he was kind enough to let her actually sit inside the vehicle. So it's a great community outreach event.
absolutely, yeah.
There's over 600 likes, I believe it's on the Facebook page. So there's over 600 likes on it, all positive comments. It's just something that Officer Kloss enjoys doing with the kids all the time. He sees somebody like that, he welcomes them, they come in, they're not afraid of him, he lets them sit in the vehicle, and they enjoy it, and so does he.
Yeah, I think it's great.
And I agree, and I think that's one of the things that sets our police department apart
They
from
take
others.
the
And
time.
you know, and that's one thing I say all the time. The different outreach and the different way our police officers serve the community, from coffee with a cup to, you know, going to the high rises and the elderly housing
Having dinner.
complexes and having dinner with them, and you know, just the little giveaways that they're doing, and they're partnering with the Mercantile Club to do some of those things, and like that list goes on and on too. You know, they're going into the schools now and eating lunch with the elementary kids. Like it just keeps going on and on and on. And really, I think that's one of the problems with perceptions of police departments, of the police are the bad guys. And I think that's really something that changes that perception in this community, because this community really loves our police department. And I think one of the reasons they love this police department is because our police department's out there in the community and showing people that, you know, they're people too, and they're not just there to arrest you.
Right.
But they're there to be a partner in the community, and I think that goes a long way with things like Officer Kloss. That's something that's been part of that department for decades, and it's something to be proud of.
That's what I was gonna say, it's something to take pride in, so thank you, I just wanted to point that out.
Thank you for bringing
Thank
that
you.
up. I did do that in committee, but this was the proper place to do it, so thanks for bringing that up. Unless there's anything else, I report progress here. Next meeting is August 14th at 9:15 a.m.
Thank you, Chairman Dufresne. General Administration Committee, I have nothing to bring forward. It says our next meeting is July 18th. That meeting was actually canceled. Our next meeting is actually August 1st at 9 a.m. here in Council Chambers. Budget and Finance Committee, Chairman Hart.
Thank you, Mr. President. Earlier this evening, the Budget and Finance Committee approved a rather extensive list of bills to be paid under Resolution 2019-28. Unless there are any questions, I offer that for a motion to approve.
There's a motion to approve the bill list, Resolution 2019-28.